So Tyler Reddick and Michael Jordan kick off the year with a three-peat, and it's looking like Michael Jordan gets a three-peat in just about everything he does. It's not three championships, but three races is one crazy way to kick off a year, and it's never been done in NASCAR history. You got to think it's a spec series, right? These drivers are driving pretty similar cars. Uh, other than the aerodynamics package between manufacturers, everything's pretty much the same. So to kick off the year with three straight wins on tracks like Daytona, Atlanta, and then hit it off on a road course, that has a lot to say about what a team and driver has going. So if that has anything to say about what 2311 will do this season, it's going to be an interesting season to say the least. Will Hendricks kick back up? Kyle Larson coming off a championship, and having drivers like Chase Elliott, William Byron, and Kyle Larson, who are very consistent drivers who are pretty far back in points. Chase Elliott is sitting in third place. Kyle Larson, I think's back in 15th. William Byron's somewhere in there. And of course, Alex Bowman is Alex Bowman and is nowhere to be seen in the top 15 or 16 for the chase. So with that being said, today we're going to jump into some O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing, and we will also jump over to INDYCAR. Truck Series race was interesting. We're not really going to watch highlights over. At the end of the video, we'll dive in, talk about the winner of all that and who finished where. But let's take a look at these last few laps. 2 laps to go here in the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series, where SVG, did SVG and came out victorious. It was a really good race. There's a lot of passings and, way more than you'd see at an F1 race here. But just the last few laps are pretty great. SVG with some good moves, and we're starting to see who are the drivers we're going to have to watch out for. And, of course, you see Austin Hill rocking in there. He's going to have a really good season this year.
Big day. We've praised the position that he's put himself in, but you can't. He had the same.
But yeah, we see
Atlanta, and you can't continue to do it every week.
Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love, who was my pick to win this race. Reason I picked Jesse Love and not SVG is I was thinking like, maybe SVG won't go as hard in this Xfinity race, save himself for tomorrow. But I was thinking Jesse Love would get that in. Jesse Love, he's a really good road course driver. Didn't do too so hot in the tough race, but
he's had quite a day. I think to be in the position he is after everything that he's went through, pretty solid after what he's been through.
All of that, and we're coming back to the white flag for Shane Van Gisbergen. 1.8 second advantage, and he'll
so
be happy to see that
dominant on these road courses.
And
how Tyler Reddick beat him is just crazy.
Trying to do the best to
Tyler Reddick last week, won at Atlanta with a missing fender. Comes out, gets pole position Friday at COTA after having a terrible practice session. Look at that.
Think about the dominance for Junior.
It has a terrible practice session with all the other Toyotas. Comes out, gets pole position, comes out, dominates the race over drivers like Connor Zillits, SVG. Will Tyler Reddick get 4th? And it's crazy we're even saying that. It's really possible for him to get 4 wins.
He looked vulnerable. A track that over the years has not been as good to him as some of the others.
And I think when you look at this tomorrow morning, he led 30 laps, had a great day, typical Shane Van Gisbergen day, but it wasn't. He looked very vulnerable at certain points in this race, got shuffled back, but they made all the right decisions.
I just think this track gets in SVG's head. It's the only road course he hasn't won. So it's
showed his
just
expertise,
like,
his experience level, and some of those moves.
I don't know, dude. He obviously won here for O'Reilly's, but he's not had the cup win here yet.
It's not like he wasn't put back in the field and had to navigate through them.
Get something
but
going.
just once again shows
hopefully
how
next
good
year.
he is at this form of racing.
He's going for a 6th consecutive win in a Cup car tomorrow on a road course. That would match Jeff Gordon for the most consecutive wins on the road at NASCAR's top level. And he's taking care of business here today. Turn 19 to turn 20. He'll make the left-hander and see that checkered flag. From Auckland,
Your masterclass performance, that little drift.
road, Shane Van Gisbergen wins it at Circuit of the Americas.
It would have been wild if he lost that. That would have been insane. Austin Hill would have been up there in the points.
To do that often, celebrate his wins. That's pretty cool.
Third runner-up finish at COTA for Austin
Yeah,
Hill, who
I was really
continues
hoping
to
up
impress at this place.
Jesse Love would have
Sammy
got
Smith
that.
comes home third, his second top five.
So let's jump into this Cup race. Obviously, we know who wins. And we'll watch the last laps of it. Well, few laps of it. Actually, I'll jump up there because we know who won. We're just going to talk about this really. So Tyler Reddick last year coming off 0 wins, just a terrible year in general.
Scott, all these guys, those are the same names that we've been saying for several years now. And when you have
obviously the
continuity as a
lawsuit with
group,
2311 Racing,
and you go through
Danny
a year
Hamlin
of
being
not
one of the
having the
owners, losing his
success that you
dad,
want,
and
you
obviously
can have
losing the
those hard
championship the way he
conversations and
did.
things that
It's when this happened, I thought he was about to spin out, but it was Carson Hocevar. He said that just like it just had me thinking that Tyler Reddick just lost a tire or something because everybody was losing tires. I think there's about 6, 7 maybe people losing tires during this race.
Was 31st.
We saw Ross Chastain, the guy who had the fastest lap, obviously, lose a tire, go back 2 laps on the track, and that kind of threw his day off at the end of the race. But just an overall masterclass performance by Tyler Reddick and what they got going on. Really didn't show much about it, but that's all it was. It was Tyler Reddick dominating the day. There's some wrecks here and there. There was people losing tires. Hate to say it, but it was a snooze fest. And after 2 races like Atlanta and Daytona, how those went off, you're just like, oh wow, this is boring. But next week hitting up Phoenix, the former championship race, it's going to be a really good race, and we're going to see. I feel like that's where we're going to see who's going to be who. Tyler Reddick may or may not win 4 in a row. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen anymore because, good Lord, dude, he's dominant this year. But already, and it's 3 races into the season. But we'll see how next week plays out. And I'm not going to make a prediction now until the next video. I'm not got a single prediction right in the Cup Series. I'm pretty confident in my O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series predictions. As we could tell, I hit on INDYCAR too, so I'm 1-0 in the INDYCAR racing. So maybe we can keep that up. With F1 starting this week too, we got a lot of action to talk about and cover. So we're gonna do a little dive into the F1, give my predictions there. But I still think NASCAR is going to still be the most entertaining series to watch this year because it always is. There's always, besides these last 3 weeks, there's a different winner every week. There's multiple winners. It's not just one person dominating a season like in F1. Besides last year was a great season. Wanted Max to win, but it's not how it played out. But with this new points format in NASCAR, it's definitely going to make the points race more entertaining and just make everything matter. Because, Tyler Reddick may have won these 3 races, right? What if he has 4 or 5 DNFs on that finish? What's that going to do to him in the points standing? It's not, we're not in the chase or the playoff era where your 3 wins are guaranteeing you into the series. You can have 3 wins, dude, and still not make the playoffs if you DNF. If you sit there and DNF, finish last place in multiple races, what's that going to do to Tyler Reddick? And I think that really makes this season more entertaining because those 3 wins could literally be washed away with 3 DNFs. So, it's going to be very entertaining to see how all this plays out. And do I think Tyler Reddick is going to be a guy contending for a championship? I don't know. And that's the beauty of this new point system. We do not know what's going to happen because he's really not even locked in yet. So he could have those 3 wins, have 5, 6 DNFs, screw up the rest of the year. And then, boom, what happens? Where is he going to be at in the points? 10th, 11th? And nobody's really even got a chance to win from 10th or 11th in the chase because you got a few races to, jump up from 11th to 1st. It's not the playoffs where you can get lucky like Joey Logano and get a couple championships. You're going to have to fight for this. And if you're start out hot, finish weak, dude, you're not going to be a champion. You're going to finish. You got to start out hot, finish hot. And, that's why I'm looking at guys like Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, who's really hasn't had a hot start until now. Looking at guys like that who are consistent, Ryan Blaney, and looking at them and be like, dude, these are the guys who are probably going to compete for a championship. Tyler Reddick, and I hate to say it just because, he's starting out so hot. But, last year, if he plays out like he does last year, finishes out how he did last year, will he be one of the guys contending for a championship? And, that's why I'm saying we could watch this whole season and, just continuously be entertained. We don't have to, watch your favorite driver win week 3, not watch the rest of the season until the playoffs. Dude, your driver can win 3 in a row and still not make it. And that's what I love about this. So let's jump into a place that doesn't have a playoffs or chase, just a season-long points format where, one driver will probably dominate this full season. INDYCAR, where my prediction was right. My boy Alex Palou coming out hot with a dub. So let's jump in a little bit. It's from good racing here. INDYCAR always provides some good racing. In my opinion,
Armstrong holds on. How did
F1 jump
into I have
never
seen an
some whack cars now. INDYCAR is going to be the series to watch, dude. They're getting some big names up in there.
Meanwhile, guys, Alex
obviously not like big names, but INDYCAR, anybody can make it. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but in F1, you have to have money, you have to have honor, you have to have some sort of something to get your name in there. It's not just because you're a good driver. Look at Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll's in there because of his dad. All these INDYCAR guys are in there because they're driving.
The right rear bouncing.
You could say F1 is the pinnacle of motorsports.
That's going to be a full course caution. There it is. But let's see a replay. Dixon right out of the pits was down into turn 4.
You can see the wheel nut.
Yeah, there's the wheel nut.
And that is a very uncharacteristic mistake on the pit stop, and he knows it. Look at him looking in his mirror. Dixon knows something's wrong right there.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Lose your wallet? Just open Find Mine.
These ads are really irking me off today.
And ping it. That's EDC done right.
So.
McLaughlin's hungry
now.
Great
Alex Palou now, INDYCAR is probably a little bit different,
up on his gearbox.
Right? So if Alex Palou comes off the back,
let's see the exit.
Great.
Good on the brakes. Really
We're only
nice.
having, I think, 18 races.
Can he get the launch?
That's a lovely you pretty much could call it off. But he had 8 wins last year, dominated the season.
Ducks out of the slipstream.
If he can pull what he did off last year now,
and that's second.
Dude, it's over. Look at that 13-second gap.
Now Ericsson
30-something laps to go, 25 laps to go.
Kirkwood comes into pit. Ericsson defends.
You're not messing with Alex
Big push towards the wall, but
I made a whole edit about it.
Fights his way past, breaks too late. Ericsson continues on.
But he's definitely one of the guys we're going to have to look out for. I think he's one of the guys INDYCAR, well, F1 missed, dude. Like, he was going to race for McLaren, but it just didn't work out.
Now, big defense from Ericsson against the McLarens. An award gets passed by Lundgaard.
What could McLaren be if they had previously before Lando Norris?
Because Kirkwood was all jammed up here.
And these guys have been driving so slowly, fighting each other.
This
is really playing into Kirkwood's hands. Ericsson absolutely has his hands full. They've got to bring him in. Struggling now as Lundgaard fights, and Lundgaard takes the opportunity. That's marvelous.
Insane.
Like I feel like a lot of people is struggling.
Put these INDYCAR drivers into a box because they're not in F1.
Award wants the position.
You got to think.
A couple of these blocks from
some of the guys in F1
looked
shouldn't be in
pretty
F1.
aggressive and might come
these
under
drivers,
the
they went
control,
the same route as these F1 drivers.
Here comes Ericsson
they
pit
went
lane,
the same way. F2, the regional formulas, Formula 3, and all that other stuff.
Exits, they're going to blend right at pit out.
They just ended up in different areas.
Kirkwood is flying the fastest car on track right now.
Like
and he has fresh rubber. McLaughlin goes defensive, forces Kirkwood to go the long way round. Can Kirkwood do it? Oh, it is almost a carbon copy.
INDYCAR just needs to learn to capitalize on stuff.
But Kirkwood is smart to it.
They don't. That's the thing. They don't really capitalize on
12 to go.
The popularity. Like you hear of the Indy 500, but you don't really hear of the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. You don't hear of the Nashville Music City Grand Prix. I mean, you're hearing a little bit about the Streets of Arlington race and DC race, which is new to the schedule this year. It's really making big headways in motorsports, and I think that's something that's good for
And now McLaughlin
IndyCar
has a
in
look, and now
general
McLaughlin
because,
goes
all
up on the
publicity is
inside
good
of
publicity.
Kirkwood. That's second
Granted,
place back for
people are
McLaughlin, and can
trying
Lundgaard
to,
take advantage as well?
say,
They're on side
oh,
by
IndyCar is
side
being
into
too
the final
political
sweep,
by
and
going
he
to the White
does. It's
House.
third place
But,
for
it's
Christian
fucking, they're
Lundgaard,
going to the
and
White House
Kirkwood
to
dropped
race
from
in the
second
nation's
to fourth.
capital. Like, if a
The
president I
best
didn't
has
like
returned
did that, I'd
better
still been like,
than
dude,
ever.
that's
The
awesome.
question
I'll walk with
remains,
it, dude.
how
It's
do
good. What's
you
good for
beat this man?
motorsports should
Alex
be, and
Palou
you're a
makes it
motorsports fan, should
back-to-back
be good for
wins
you. Like,
on the streets of St.
you
Pete.
can't deny that this is going to be awesome. And I
Still
cannot wait
ahead
to
of
see what
Lundgaard. Will hold him
IndyCar
off to
can
the
do.
line. The pole sitter comes home
The
second.
capital. It's going to be beautiful. But as you can see, I was correct about my predictions, and I think nobody would be surprised there. We're going to take a look at the standings here in IndyCar. But I don't think anybody would be surprised there. Chip Ganassi Racing. Honda is just dominant in IndyCar. And that's the thing. That's something you'll learn. All the good teams are rocking with Honda, right? Minus McLaren. But, Andretti. But yeah, you see a rocking Honda, dude. Another place that IndyCar could definitely expand on is their manufacturing standpoint. I think it would be amazing to see Ford in here, and I think it would be amazing to see Toyota hop in. I think NASCAR should really partner with IndyCar in this way, allow Honda to join NASCAR, and possibly potentially have NASCAR with 5 OEMs from Ford, Toyota, Chevy, Honda, and then Dodge. That'd be amazing. NASCAR would be bumping, and then you would allow IndyCar to have, Honda, Chevy, this just share manufacturers and have multiple manufacturers running in these series, and that'd be just good for American motorsports in general. And you see Alex Palou running first, Scott McLaughlin, my boy Pato O'Ward, he's one of the guys I pull for, rocking in the McLaren. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this really plays out. We will honestly see pretty soon, who's the guys to watch and, who's going to be the champion. If Alex Palou has a season like last year, it's pretty locked on who's the champion. He's dominated IndyCar. But yeah, speaking of new to IndyCar, we have a former F1 driver that brings a lot of names. Where's he at? Mick Schumacher, dude. There we go. Michael Schumacher's son, Mick Schumacher, wrecked out early into the race. Unfortunate. People are obviously clowning him for it, but it's just an unfortunate event. He got caught up in a wreck, and I don't think just one bad showing's going to be telling. I think he's going to do pretty good. Do I'm saying he's going to be a champion, fighting for a champion? No. But maybe a top 10 finish by the end of the season. Now, he does have to learn ovals. That's going to be the challenge for him. But, yeah, I definitely think he's going to be somebody who can be pretty good during the season. If y'all don't know that name right there, that is a name. Stingray Robb, dude. I'm rocking with it. But, yeah, we got next week. Let's see. Honestly, yeah. They're sharing with NASCAR next week. That's going to be amazing. So next week, NASCAR, IndyCar will be sharing at Phoenix Raceway. And, yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. That's just good for American motorsports. Then I really think that's something they should do more. And if this event goes well, I think it could grow IndyCar more because obviously NASCAR has a far superior fan base, and allowing NASCAR fans to witness IndyCar race on their home, oval tracks, it'll give them the perception, oh, we should watch IndyCar too, and that will make IndyCar grow. If Alex Palou, goes out there, dominates, grow him some more fans too. But we see they haven't raced there since 2018, so it's going to be really interesting to just see how this goes. Of course, we got 2 new tracks back to back, and the race after that, we'll be heading up to Arlington, down to Arlington. So that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what IndyCar has in store for us this year. So let's jump over to the standings, dude. So we see Tyler Reddick rocking with 112 laps led, 186 points, 70 points back off his teammate Bubba Wallace, 72 points back off my boy Chase Elliott, 86 points back off Ryan Blaney, and 100 points back off 8th place AJ Allmendinger. This is interesting. Okay, SVG in 5th place after 3 races. This is why I love this point system, dude, because it's going to shape up so much, and we're really going to see what's rocking. Kyle Larson finally making his appearance in the playoffs, and it's awesome to see Zane Smith still in the mix too. So that's awesome. If Zane Smith makes the playoffs, dude, I'll shave my head. I'll shave my head. Yeah, that 2-lap drop really hurt Ross, dude. Dropped 9 points. He was in the playoffs. Seabell rocking up 7 points, positions, and Chase Briscoe dropping 12. Yeah, them road courses really hurt you, dude. And look at that. Alex Bowman, dead last in all the chartered drivers' position seats. Come on, Bowman, dude. You got to get it. You got to do something. Let's rock over to the O'Reillys. Actually, let's take a look at the manufacturer's standings. I'm pretty sure, yep, obviously Toyota's still in first by 61 points. And I feel like that's going to change. Just wait. Can't let Toyota get a championship, dude. Obviously, Austin Hill in first. Obviously, I think he had the 50 points from the win last week because SVG not being a driver in the standings, not eligible to compete. Still rocking in there. Yeah, it's going to be a great season. I'm Jesse Love, who's my pick to back it up. Is rocking in second in points, and then Justin Allgaier. Yeah, it's going to be a really good season this year with the O'Reilly series. I mean, a bunch of new guys in here. So we really got to it's just predictions, really, dude. All these guys are new. We have Raja Karuth, my guy, who I'm rooting for, and then a bunch of these, like some of these guys should already be Cup. Riley Hurts, dude, should be replaced by Austin Hill, Jesse Love, Raj Karuth. But yeah, it's just look at that, dude. Chevy rocking all the way down to top 10, and then Ford. Sad to see how what Ford's been going through. And over in the trucks, we got Chandler Smith, Ben Rhodes. Lane Riggs, who's with a winner. Ford's rocking heavy up in the front now. Now, a lot of these guys are new. I'm still learning the whop around the trucks. I was wrong in my prediction there, obviously. I think I was picking Andretti to win just because I'm really not familiar with any of these guys' road racing abilities. But it's going to be interesting to see, where this plays out. Chandler Smith still rocking that first position, especially after his win at Daytona. And he's up pretty good. He's up 34 points. And I think that's something he could probably hold out for because it's competitive, but they're newer. So they're newer to NASCAR. These guys are newer to NASCAR. They're from, ARCA and all these other series. Now, granted, there's guys been in here for a little minute. But, it's not, nothing that these guys are really, familiar with still. And, coming off these last 3 races that, especially at a new track, a street circuit, for example, it's just insane that Chandler Smith is still up front. But, next week, let's see. Does the trucks race? All right, so we know, obviously, they'll be at Phoenix next week for the Cup. And they'll be sharing that Saturday with INDYCAR. Okay, so that's cool. But will the trucks be racing it that weekend? is the question. No, it does not look like they will be racing. They'll be racing one time in the month of March, and that will be at Darlington. Okay, so we got a little break from the trucks for now. Lane Riggs won that one. Chandler Smith, going to hold first place up until March 20th. So that's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens at Darlington and see how that shakes it up. So to finish off the video today, I'm going to show you on my little Instagram page. Obviously, nothing spectacular. We're trying to get bigger, but we're going to look at something. So I've started this thing called the Fast Car Cup Series, which the fastest lap will get points. And, first place 10, second place 8, so on, and yada, yada, yada. And, you see in race 1, Josefar, rocking with, the win there. And I changed the points after that. And then, I corrected it, added, doubled it up. But, race 2, Josefar still in there. And so the thing is it's been different tracks. And it's going to look different, look clustered and all that until probably about the middle of the season. And then we'll really start to see who got the fastest laps for each race. And at the end of the season, whoever has the most points, most fastest laps or yada, yada, whatever, will be the Fast Cup Car champion. And I'm doing something similar with IndyCar. So this weekend, I took the drivers who had the top 5 qualifying laps and gave them points. And that's what I'm going to do with IndyCar. I'm not going to do this with F1 or anything because a lot of people do that with F1 already. But we're going to, try to be the ones who, do stuff like this for IndyCar and NASCAR. Something interesting to keep up with and hopefully gain traction to my page and helps me grow. So yeah, Scott McLaughlin rocking with the qualifying 1, but Alex Below with the winner. So yeah, granted, I think Alex Below is going to win that. I don't know who's going to win the NASCAR one because there's so many different tracks, different outcomes. And it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Alex Below, I think, polled multiple times last year. I think more than he won. So if that happens, he polls half the races, it's pretty much wraps from there. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all sticking around this time. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all can follow my page, too, for those who don't already. And if you haven't subscribed to me, subscribe so we can get this channel growing. I'd love to, have more stuff, be able to connect with y'all more from, just, racing games to commenting on my videos or commenting on my page below. I will always answer. So, yeah, just hit me up on the pages or, yeah. And I'll see y'all next time.